This thoroughly enjoyable and fairly long pass of 19 kilometers straddles the Friesland Mountains between Herbertsdale and Van Wykstorp. The road is generally well maintained to a high standard despite the gravel surface. The northern section can get quite narrow at times, but should present no problems providing speed limits are adhered to. The road was realigned to improve geometric standards in 1920. There are at least half a dozen river crossings over the low-level culverts, which can be dangerous if the rivers come down in flood. In the video clip, there is ample evidence of fresh repair work, and it can be seen just how high these rivers can get. Poor judgment or ego-driven decisions could be fatal. If you're not prepared to walk it, then don't drive it. This pass is suitable for all vehicles except in heavy rain or snow conditions. The northern starting point is easy to spot as the road crosses a stream via a concrete drift. Immediately after the drift there's a sharp right-hand bend and the ascent begins right away heading into the east-southeast. These early stages of the pass are fairly easy as the road meanders via multiple bends up the Sierlemoen Kloof, a distinct hint that citrus was or is still grown in this valley. The road crosses the stream many times as it worms its way up the kloof. This twisting, narrower section of the pass is particularly beautiful and is a visual feast. It's also the more attractive of the two halves, with more twists and turns, whilst the mountains hem the road in from either side. Riverine vegetation makes a nice contrast, and the constant presence of white water in the stream adds to the allure. It is also the more technical part of the pass to drive. There are 35 bends along this northern ascent, most of them being fairly gentle, but be aware that due to the dense foliage in this ravine, the bends are often blind. Keep well left at all the blind corners, as this road does carry some traffic on it, which is mainly local farmers, and they're almost always in a hurry. This is one of those old passes that was never really properly planned or designed by an engineer, and dates back as far as 1850, and was originally called Cloete's Kraal Pass. From a bridle path for cattle, it became a wagon route. Over many years, a variety of private owners and councils maintained and upgraded it. It's named after the Cloete family, who farmed at the southern end of the mountain passage. The first recorded use of this pass was made by Mr. A.H. Garcia in 1868, who was the Civil Commissioner of Herbertsdale. But it is obviously older, as it was already a well-used route by that time. The pass is still guarded by the ruins of blockhouses built to watch over it during the Anglo-Boer War. At the southern end of the pass lies the town of Herbertsdale, which lies in the valley of the Langtoe River, a tributary of the Cloete, and was established on part of the farm Hemelroot, of which the owner was James Benton Herbert. The first residential stands were sold in 1865, and the settlement was named after the owner of the farm. The Dutch Reformed Church built the first church and school on another piece of Herbertsdale, where mission work began in 1863. The mission station was taken over by the Berlin Missionary Society in 1872. The school still stands to this day. The town is at the southern end of the Cloete Pass, which connects the Little Karoo and the Cloete Valley across the Vreesberg, which have an altitude of 1100 meters at the eastern extremity of the Langeberg mountain range. Most of the early ox-wagon passes were not constructed as such, but early explorers merely followed game and elephant tracks or footpaths made by the Khoikhoi people over the mountains. The first ox-wagon pass across the Langeberg and Outeniqua range was the Ataques Kloof Pass north of Mosul Bay, and this became the main road to the north for 180 years. The first hairpin bend occurs at the 5-kilometer mark at an altitude of 405 meters. This bend is very sharp and turns through 170 degrees, changing the direction into the west, but the road soon heads towards the southwest. On this hairpin bend, another road leads off to the left, closed by a farm gate, but don't follow it as it ends a few kilometers further in a dead end at the Weltevreden farm. The true summit is marked by a steel tower and occurs at the 6.3-kilometer mark at an altitude of 479 meters above sea level. This is a good spot to take a break as the road is wide enough to stop safely and the views are very good towards the south. Be sure to watch part 2 of the Cloete Pass.